Okay, so my haptics have finally arrived for my Simagic P1000 pedals. And today I'm going to talk about a little bit, sort of a first look into how they feel. But before we get into playing them in game, I shall explain how they are, what they are, how they look like, and yeah, a bit like that. So what they are haptic motors, you will be seeing them, which are like this big, and for you who, well, you can't see the size, but I would say roughly, how long? Like 2 inches, 5 centimeters? No, a bit larger, 3 inches, 7.5 centimeters, something like that. That big. They are black and red, and what they do is they use electric current to spin and make vibrations. So instead of like the Fanatic ones, which it spins a weight to give that vibration, in these ones, how I understand them, it's an electric current which makes one of everything spin. So if they are like 50 hertz, which is the maximum, the electricity on and off, which makes it move and vibrate. So it like off, on, off, on, off, on. So the weight like moves around a bit. That's how I understand they work. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But that's how I understand them after watching videos and reading about them. So to see how they look like, you can see here. So these are how my pedals look like beforehand. So before the where I put the haptic. So you have the clutch here, the brake, and the throttle, and also quite a bit of dust. But here you can see like the throttle is very smooth, only has this thing, and then you have this too, and then you have this, like they look like that, and then you have here the haptics. So you can see here that instead of like the Fanatic ones, which I can bring up, they are more solid and they look a bit bigger. And this is something which I actually quite like with them, because the weight and everything brings more power, and that's what I want. So if we find here, if we have a little slight look at them when we look here, you can see that here you have 2 motors on the brake and throttle. And that is what I have over here. I have one on my throttle and on my brake. And you also have these cables, but they are not fully in the way. And what I've also done is bought a spring, the optional kit for the brakes, so I get more springs and stuff. And if you want to know what I did, was I put in a brown spring, and then I put in the metal spacers or what you want to call them, to give them some extra, to give it extra stiffness. I have to play around with the preload though, but now it feels very 2 stages, because I can feel that the brake moves, and then it reaches a point where it doesn't move, and it has very little movement. So that's very nice. But then if we want to not go into Automobilista 2, which is here, but if we want to go into where the software is, no, I'm going to take you to where the software is. I got my order wrong. So let's get into SimPro Manager. I think that's the name of it. And I will show you how it looks. Oh, well, you can't make it big, so you'll have to enjoy this. So what you can see is you have all of the games which I have installed on my computer. Then if we go to the pedals here, you can see the curves. So you have, I don't know what these logos mean, but you have the clutch, you have the throttle, and you have the brake. And what I do to calibrate them, you press here, and then what I do is always push it to 100%, and then when I'm at the 100%, I stop it. And then when we go to feedback, here is where you can do them. And since I use SimHub, none of these are enabled. So if we just get into SimHub here, you can see that if we just do that and then that, okay, the gap is still here, quite annoying. But if we go here to Shake It Motors, I'm using a profile from a guy, which I don't know if I'm allowed to share, but I'm just telling you that these are the things around. So I have for ABS and TC I have. Then I also have wheel locking, lock and slip. So when I have wheel spin, it vibrates, and when I lock the brakes, it also tells me. Then in the engines here, you have here the haptics, and these are the current settings I'm running, 100%, and then low, 30 hertz, but I will have to practice this a bit more. I also turned off gear shifts because I don't really like that jolt that it gives. But let's see if you can hear anything from testing them. Okay, so you can hear slightly probably, and then when we go to the throttle. Okay, so you don't... So they do feel slightly different, like the throttle and brake feel different. The throttle feels like, if you're thinking notes, it feels higher pitch and sort of less powerful. But if we, let's see what happens if we increase it to 50. Okay, and then, okay, and if we increase it, this one to 50. Okay, so lowering the frequency actually makes it feel more powerful. So if we decrease this one to like 10, let's see the minimum, the throttle. Okay, the brake to 10. Okay, so when you have the brake at 10 and the throttle, they both feel very strange because it's like very short. But then if we take it down to 15, which is half. Okay. That's interesting. Well, if we take the brake down to 15 then. Okay. 20. Okay, so 20 is harder. Then we go to 25. Yeah, 25 feels quite powerful. And then 32, but if we go to 40, it's less, and then 35. I feel that one quite a lot. But it seems like 30 is where the power is. But I don't know why the brake and throttle feel different, like the throttle feels a lot less powerful. So if you know why that is, comment it down below. But now I say, let's start up Automobilista 2 and let's drive and see, and let me talk to you about how they feel. Okay, so now we're in the car, but most of this will be a bit weird for you, since you will probably not be able to hear it. But if we just turn off ERS and then drive out, then I can talk to you about how it feels. So if we just go out the track slightly, you can also see, okay, so I will show you, I have a specific thing for wheel slip. So if we move it to like here, then if I save layout, and then, no, resume, yeah, okay, so if I edit the layout again, then we move this to there, roughly, okay. So now by beside the position one, where you will be seeing there, the position and lap, you can see slip. So if it's blue, it means that it's slipping, and red means locking. And normally when driving this car, you will see locking will be at the front and slip will be in the rear, like you could see there. So if we just go for a start, you could see there spinning the tires made it go quite high. And then when braking here, I can feel the brake going quite a bit, but I didn't lock my tires up. So there you saw I locked them. But then, so now you know how they work and you have seen the software and everything. Now comes the real questions. How does it feel when driving, and are they actually worth it? So when driving, I can just tell you, maybe before we go into like feeling and stuff, I can tell you how I thought about them before actually started using them. So I saw a lot of things about them, and then they said like, oh, you're probably used to driving like with me, a light telling you that, oh, you're locking your brakes up, or you're slipping, your tires are having a lot of wheel spins, so you should try and operate them and try and like put less throttle or put less brake on, so you have less wheel spin or wheel lock. So then they said like, oh, with these you will feel it very different, and you will actually be able to react quicker and know what to do. So I thought, it must be, they are very good probably, but they must not be that good. I thought like, oh, I already do what they are saying, so I don't think that it's that big of a difference. But then I tried them, and they are correct, especially with the brake. So now you know when to apply less throttle and less brake, and you can actually feel it. Like when you get off the throttle, if it's vibrating, you know that you should put less throttle in or put less brake in, and it actually happens automatically. It's subconsciously, you can say. Like I don't have to really think about it. I just feel the vibration going, and I lift off the brake with my foot. So it's very useful and actually makes quite a big of a difference. And then has my braking or like throttle application improved? And I would say after using them for like a few hours, maybe like 3-4, I would say that my braking has definitely improved. I can definitely feel that my braking performance has improved. Especially like you could see through there. I'm getting used to not locking the brakes, and it's easier to not lock the brakes because it's telling me, you are locking the brakes. Put less throttle, no, put less brake pressure. And then I do that, and then it stops vibrating, and it feels like I'm doing something right. So that's very nice. And then on the throttle too, but on the throttle, since I'm quite heavy-footed, I've not gotten used to it as much, but currently, but it's coming. It's actually working. And then why I bought only 2 instead of the clutches, because for the clutch it's only like, you only need it for like the clutch bite point, which I'm not so sure how useful that is. So I wouldn't buy it for the clutch. I would only buy it for the clutch when they release the cheap version, and I look at that price, because these I think cost like, for me, I think it's like 100 euros when converted to euro from crowns. They're probably can be a bit cheaper when buying them from like Germany or something, but I bought them from Simrace Sweden, not the plug, because they ship very quickly, because they're based in Uppsala and Enköping, which are very close to Stockholm. So basically second day shipping for me when ordering from them, which is very nice. And then also, if something breaks or something happens, it's a lot less of a hassle than having to send it through another country and then down like half of Sweden. So then now let me take you off the track and let's talk a bit more about if they're worth it or not. So the big question now is, are they worth it? And in my opinion, on the brake and throttle, yes. Even though they're quite expensive and you have to buy a power supply, I would say they're worth it, because for me it was, at least on braking performance, automatically improved. Because like if you go into Monza, which is a very hard track, especially like turn 1, where you have to brake very hard and not try and lock up, that actually helped me quite a bit. Or quite a lot actually, with not locking up. My braking performance, I was actually shocked at how much it improved, because I'm very heavy footed, so I brake very hard. But then that feedback actually gave me feedback on when I should trail brake, and it helped me very much into improving my trail braking, threshold braking, and I actually braked a lot quicker. So that's a good one. And on the throttle, as I said, I need to get used to them, but I also believe that they're worth it because it improves. The only comments I have about them is actually AMS2 related, and that is also in the beta. When you turn in certain cars with TC, the throttle, it will cut the throttle and activate TC. So then the motor goes when you're on the straight and turning in certain cars, which isn't ideal, but having TC and ABS effects are very useful to learning how to brake and how to get on the throttle very quickly and efficiently. But what do you think? Comment down below, and while you're down there, please hit the like button and also subscribe. My next video, it's just the same old thing of me saying, oh, I believe a dev update will arrive this week, and then after that hopefully the AMS2 update, and now we are very close to the deadline of summer ending. Well, if you say Swedish summer, it's already ended a long time ago, but according to Renato it's like end of September, so we'll have to see. In my opinion, I think we might see a dev update the week of uploading this. Wouldn't be surprised not, and I wouldn't be surprised if the update wouldn't arrive either. So we'll see when that happens. But until then, I've been Racing Legend, you've been my amazing viewers. Thank you for watching. Goodbye!